Hi everybody, this is Byron Jacobs for dmbpoker.com. This video is about dealing with donk betting. It's a quick video based on a hand from a 3-6 fixed limit game from a coaching session that I did last night. Here we're in the cut-off position. We open raise with King 10. There's a fold from the button and the blinds both call. The blinds are both quite weak players. Quite random, quite weak, can turn up with anything at any point. Flop comes down, it's not great, missing us. There's two checks from the blinds. Obviously they could have we could still have the best hand here. They could have higher cards that haven't connected with the flop, so we bet. The small blind folds, which is good, and the big blind flats, which leaves them with a very wide range. You could have more or less anything here. Comes up with a third diamond on the flop. We don't have any diamonds, which isn't ideal. We don't have to make a decision as to what to do when he checks, because he comes up with the donk bet. This is obviously a bet leading into us when we've got the initiative on the previous betting round, and now we have to try and put him on a range and decide how to play the rest of the hand. Now, in order to put him on a range here, it helps to know what kind of player he is, and as I mentioned previously, my perception of this player was that they're quite weak. Now, if this was a strong player, I'd be inclined to fold, because I think a strong player is going to have quite a strong range for this play here. I mean, possibly like the ace of diamonds with another card, or maybe a 5x hand or a 7x hand that didn't want to raise the flop. But because this player is weak, I know that weak players tend to like to donk out with kind of hands that want you to fold immediately, but aren't necessarily very strong hands. So when he donks out when the third diamond hits, I think a big part of his range here is a couple of overcards, including a diamond. Basically a hand that he's quite happy to play bet call with, but he donks out in the hope of getting a fold if I happen to have a marginal holding myself. So the plan here is to simply call, and then on the river I will call any non-diamond river that turns up. So we call the bet behind. The river effectively blanks off unless he's got a hand like 6-8 or 6-4, which I think are less likely to be in his range. He bets the river, we call because all the draws have missed, or specifically the diamond draw has missed, and he shows up with precisely the hand we had in mind, which is a couple of overcards with a diamond. Now, as I said, a strong player is less likely to play the hand like this. A strong player holding this hand, I'd much more likely to see them checking the turn, and then if I was to bet, they might check raise. That would be a much more convincing way to make the semi-bluff play rather than the donk play. And if they check and I check behind, well, then they don't mind because they've got a free card with their 15 out draw. So a strong player is much more likely to play the hand like that. But when the donk comes from a weaker player, you have to put a big part of their range as being a couple of overcards with the diamond. Of course, they could still be beating us. They could have ace-x with the diamond, but they didn't do anything pre-flop, so we have to tighten up their range a little bit, and it's very likely that our King 10 is a good bluff catching hand, as indeed it turned out. Thanks for listening. This has been Byron Jacobs for dmbpoker.com.